Attention please. This upload is only for educational purpose. No intention to infringe copyrights. Learning English with subtitles. GPITRAL. GPITRAL. Definitely a must-see. Follow us.
The family home. Traditionally a place of refuge at the end of a long working day. But when the home of your dreams turns into a house of horrors, when spirits move in and try to move you out, it's time then to call on medium Johnny Fiore and specialist house cleanser Ian Lawman, the team from Living with the Dead.
It was a judge's house once.
On the landing, I felt like I was taking my last breath. We need Ian.
Blood on their faces.
Okay, keep taking deep breaths.
How old are you? 12.
There's something terribly sad happening to the children.
Pershore. A pretty Georgian market town, nestling in the heart of the Midlands. Home to Toyah Willcox. Actress, punk icon, and, it seems, landlady to a house full of ghosts.
As soon as I walked into this house, I knew this was going to be my home for the rest of my life. I know my soul belongs here, and there's some pretty obvious hauntings going on. When I was very, very young, there were things that would scare me if I thought about them too much. So I wasn't, kind of trying to make dead people visualise in front of me and stuff like that. But there were definite visualisations happening then that my father was aware of. And my father always felt that he was in contact with his deceased father. He'd be walking around the lounge having a conversation with his father. He was just very aware of that animal part of our nature, that, we're not the only existence on this planet.
Toyah has lived in this house for the past 5 years, with husband, guitarist Robert Fripp. A 5-story Georgian villa, the house itself dates back to around the 1720s, but some parts are even older.
This cellar is the oldest part of the house. It's about 1520, and all this stone's from the Reformation. It's when the churches and the abbeys were knocked down, and the stone was either stolen from Pershore Abbey and brought here, or the monks built down here as a food store and a place to hide. The strongest presence in the house is here. It looks religious to me. When I see it very clearly, there's a tunic. It seems to be someone of a high religious order there. It never moves from this spot. It's never appeared anywhere else. It's just very still.
A religious figure who she sees standing in her cellar. Could this be related to the stone that Toyah says was used in its construction? Could the bricks possibly be retaining some kind of spiritual imprint of past lives?
I think that reclaimed bricks can retain a ghostly presence, particularly the case of the discovery of the foundations of Glastonbury Abbey, where Frederick Bligh Bond, the architect and archaeologist, found the ruins of the abbey by talking to the memories of the monks that were involved with those particular ruins. So most certainly bricks can retain energies from the past.
And the cellar is not the only room in the house where Toyah has been aware of a ghostly presence. She feels her bedroom has also had its fair share of nighttime spirit visitors.
One night I was lying in bed and the door handle started to turn and the door opened. I shut the door again, went back to bed, and again the door handle turned and the door opened. I can't really see it. It's more like a moving shadow. But there's a smell of cigarette smoke, a very feminine cigarette smoke. But also there's this sense of perfume, and it's a bit violety. It's a really old-fashioned, weighty perfume.
And at the very top of the house, Toyah has also been aware of a visiting presence.
This is the attic, and I keep all my clothes up here, so I have to come up here at least once or twice a month. One day I was up here and there was a shadow that was definitely moving. One of the reasons this spooks me is in old properties, in small villages, they would sometimes hold a court. And if they decided a poacher needed to be hung, they'd hang them in the stairwell. Now, this is the top of the stairwell. It was a judge's house once, and it was the pubs and the judges' houses in the old towns where hangings used to happen.
Could a hanging from the rafters explain Toya's feeling of discomfort in the attic? Coming up, living with the dead medium, Johnny Fiore also shares her unease.
I felt like I was taking my last breath.
And Toya is joined by friends Ruth Maddock and Rula Lenska, who feel strong echoes from the past.
Out of the house.
They've got no clothes on.
Punk icon and actress Toya Wilcox lives in the village of Pershaw in Gloucestershire. Since she's moved in, she's been aware of spirits in her house, from the cellar in the basement right up to the top attic.
We've got an energy here that is just a replay, it's an emotional, it's in the bricks. We've got one that is definitely someone who hasn't realised they haven't passed over, and another one that is just a feminine presence.
At least 3 spirits felt to be wandering the property then. Plenty for living with the dead medium Johnny Fiore to tackle. Coming from a long line of sensitives, she's come to see what she can feel for herself and prefers to make that journey without being told anything of what has gone on previously in the house. First stop, Toya takes her to the basement.
Okay. So this is our cellar.
I believe when it was built, this probably could have been ground level.
Okay. What I'm getting right here is that something has been blocked up.
The stone is definitely from the Abbey, which is 500 yards away. And there were secret tunnels linking from here to the Abbey, but they've been bricked up.
It's really funny, as I'm saying that, the floor is going really, really cold on me. I get the sensation of pushing. I get the sensation that people were either pushed into this place or held in this place, or made to stay in this place. It's just started to get a little chillier. What's on the other side of this door here?
That leads to the street.
Oh, seems like it's an opening for spirit activity to come through. Like water running. The door doesn't actually stop it. But I don't feel uneasy here as I do back behind this door, right here.
I know there's a presence there. There always has been.
Is it a man here?
It's a man. He doesn't move from where you've just
He's
stood.
guarding something. It's as if he's on watch. Mm-hmm. He's always on watch. This is all that he knows.
I believe this was a food store.
Okay.
And you would guard a food store.
Yes.
And especially if there was unrest.
Yes, definitely.
Or plague that meant food became scarce.
Yes.
There is a story of a tidal wave coming up the River Severn. It did a lot of damage to the crops, which meant food would be even more scarce.
Yes. I've got an abbot down here, and he was the man that made all the deals. Even though he was a man of God, he was very good with making deals. He's even trading in flesh. I can get you this girl to do this job. This isn't a bad guy. He's just doing what they used to do.
So now Johnny has also picked up on this religious connection. Might there be a link with nearby Pershaw Abbey?
The monks over the years became very loose living, shall we say. And just before the Reformation, it was reported that they were living very debauched lives. At the time of the Reformation, the abbot was a man called Stonywall, who was allowed to stay in the town. The townspeople were able to purchase part of the abbey. A lot of the houses still have gargoyles and various things that they borrowed from the abbey ruins in order to build up the town.
Heading up the house, Johnny also feels strongly drawn to the main room. This is where Toya often feels a restless female presence.
Oh my. I'm instinctively drawn into the bathroom.
Really?
Instinctively, I want to go into the bathroom. Here, this is what I'm talking about. What is this, Toya?
That's the immersion heater and an airing cupboard.
And what's on the opposite side of that?
The corridor into my office.
Okay. I have so much activity associated with this door. I believe this may have been one of the hidden prayer closets. You know, when Catholics were being persecuted and they used to have the little Catholic cupboards.
Oh, now I find that really spooky. There is a small cupboard in the corridor the other side.
Okay. This is what I was looking for. This is an entry. Definitely get a sense of hiding.
It's quite possible, I'll tell you why. Below us is where the horse and coaches used to come in, or the horses used to come in. So it's highly likely that at some point this could have even been like a loft where you could have hidden people.
This is a woman.
So you've got a woman?
Yes. She walks backwards and forwards.
She keeps me awake at night. She just opens the door and walks in.
Oh, my goodness. If you like, I could show you what to do to keep her on that side of the door.
Would it frustrate her? I mean, if she needs to make that journey.
I think that's up to you. I mean, if you're happy to let her make her journey, as long as she doesn't frighten you anymore.
I'm happy because she's doing it because she believes in something.
She does.
The most significant thing about the walk around with Johnny was that she knew the route to the back stairs going down to the tea room. I always knew there was a ghost of a woman up there who worked in the tea room because I've lived with her for 7 years and I feel I know her very well. But for Johnny to pick that up and to pick up the route through the bathroom into the cupboard was amazing. Okay, be careful. This is
Moving into the attic, Johnny also immediately senses a strong presence.
Ooh, tell me about it up here. Ooh.
There's obviously something up here.
My heart is beating so fast. I'm so lightheaded, and I'm just... Oh, it's just taking my breath away. My.
Do you think there's been a suicide up here?
Suicide? Let me walk over here a little bit. The energy feels a lot lighter here than it does back there.
I agree.
So if anybody took their life, it would have been over there where I had the feeling of suffocation and I couldn't breathe. On the landing, I felt like I was taking my last breath. I don't feel that here. But over there, it feels very oppressive and claustrophobic. There's no floor beneath me. The things that happen in the world.
My gravity changes up here. My body gets heavier.
We need to find out from Ian why it's so drastically different from this side to that side.
Johnny then has picked up ghostly echoes all around the house. Certainly, Toya has had strong feelings of spirit presence ever since she moved in. Could it be that they are particularly attracted to her, coming forward because of her receptiveness?
People who are sensitive to spirits will probably be more easily influenced by those spirits than people who are not so sensitive. So it's a double-edged sword, that if you're sensitive, you see things which perhaps those of us who aren't so sensitive are indifferent to or don't see at all, but your very gift of being able to see things means that it's something to be regarded rather carefully and not to be carried away with.
While Toya seems comfortable with the spirits she feels are living around her, there are questions she does want answering about these presences.
There is so much that Ian has to deal with in this house. If he starts in the cellar, he's got his hands full. If he goes to the middle of the house, he's got his hands full. But definitely in the attic. The feelings of dread and claustrophobia, the feelings of hopelessness, Ian has got his work cut out for him.